Listen, I really like the new Jumanji installments. In fact, the last one was one of the first LMEs we did, making this one of the first follow-ups we've covered, and I thought it was just as fun. So far, both have been solid junior prices in my opinion, and they've built a pretty solid franchise formula where in every new one they can swap bodies with different characters or personas, all while still keeping the same blockbuster cast.
If you could spend 24 hours in Kevin Hart's body, how would you spend your day?
Kill myself is what I do.
Wait a second.
No.
Let me explain. So interestingly enough, this is being considered the fourth Jumanji movie since the author of Jumanji had also written the book Zathura, with the movie being pitched as taking place within the same world.
That's right, 4, because you're forgetting about the one that was in space by Jon Favreau. Zathura.
They got the same director, Jake Kasdan from Welcome to the Jungle, to come back for this one, and I had no idea that he's the son of Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote, a couple of little space movies, but Jake himself has some comedic classics on him. They brought back the same cast, with Dwayne topping the Forbes list with a cool $23.5 million up front for the role, and then there was the addition of the Dannies, which were great, especially DeVito, who was hilarious.
I think my eyes are a different color.
All of you is a different color.
For me, the action is great because they're still following that mantra that they had in the first.
CG is there to embellish live action, not to replace it. And we've really gone to great lengths on Jumanji to create live action sequences.
Now, we will have to have CGI remove cables on the stunt guys, but other than that, everything you see is going to be real.
That said, I love how it's a Sony movie, so every teenager is using their Xperia 1s, but the movie has Apple to thank for some of their editing. In this one, Spencer falls back into the game like a drug since he got a little too used to his rock-hard body, and the breakup with Martha reminded me a lot of Linda Hamilton and James Cameron's relationship during Terminator 2, where James literally went on record to say that he fell in love with the character of Sarah Connor, not Linda. Well, Spencer got Ruby Roundhouse when he came back to the real world. Things also haven't been that sunny for his grandpa DeVito either, and when Danny Glover's Milo comes back, he gets even more heated. See, they both had a restaurant that they used to run back in the day, but as Milo started getting older, he wanted to retire, and Eddie wanted to keep going, so he hates him for that, and now the restaurant is owned by Nora, who is actually the aunt from the first Jumanji movie who wanted to build her own bed and breakfast. Now she's just missing the beds. This time when they go into the game to rescue Spencer, they accidentally bring along the grandpa, so most of the bodies are swapped. Famous Let's Player Jack Black gets to play his last name.
Yo, no, this can't be happening! French. Yes, I'm French, damn it! The hell, man?
The Rock is playing DeVito, which was okay at first. I didn't think he was the funniest. It's not funnier than having DeVito play DeVito, but I thought Hart killed it as Danny Glover.
And also, Kevin, incorporate those kind of mannerisms that seem, you don't know when you're doing something that it becomes something other than what you're doing until somebody starts repeating you.
One of the cool things that the new one does is that it explores these different possibilities and tricks that you can do within the game world. Sometimes they feel convenient, sure, but the idea of being able to touch glowing water and then swap bodies with another player, I thought was a cool trick. It's a nice little leeway in the script so that now you're able to, swap from your original characters and put them back into the original bodies from the first one. But it also swaps Awkwafina halfway through the movie from playing Spencer to her doing Danny DeVito, and bruh, she made The Rock's impersonation look like a pebble compared to what she did with her posture and ad-libs. The in-game premise in this one is that the Hound stole the Maltese Falcon MacGuffin of a jewel, and our group has to pretend to marry off Ruby in order to snatch it and beat the game. But considering it's not the Mountain, but The Rock who has to fight him, he has to use some fruit to defeat him. Honestly, the best resolution in the movie didn't come from the kids or, the new lore that we learned within the game, but from Milo and Eddie for me. As always, The Rock and Kevin Hart are gonna fight in these movies and really interviews.
You guys didn't get to decide on the tagline though, and I thought I'd give you that opportunity right now.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Family movie.
Yeah.
Jumanji. Mm-hmm. Kevin is shit.
No, what?
But having it be Milo and Eddie who open up about their lifelong regrets and how Eddie is dying in the real world gave the movie a nice little heartfelt storyline. In the end, Eddie is playing in Ming's body while Milo is a horse, but they save the day as Milo decides to stay in this game world that would allow him to continue living, nay, soaring to new heights like he's never done before. And so Awkwafina bids another farewell. Now look, I'm surprised that out of all of the new franchises, and there have been some dookie ones, Jumanji has been the most consistently fun one. We all know The Rock has literally sung about him being franchise Viagra. But it really is a testament to the entire cast who's game, the production design and stunt teams, and how well they integrate with CG, an approach to the lore that a lot of other franchises should take note of. But I think its success stems from focusing on the best aspect about video games, and really games in general, and that's knowing that there's no better feeling than playing with your friend.
24 hours in The Rock's body.
Well,
all right.
15, he'd be playing himself.
Thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comments section. They've been hinting at tackling the origins of the game, which could be interesting, but I'm more of a fan of the, origins being a little bit more ambiguous. I don't need to know, but we'll see. They haven't really disappointed me with these last two, plus Jack Black has said this.
I've been pushing him for a long time to let's go to space to see the aliens that developed the Jumanji technology. But he's like, Jack, we're not going to open that can of worms.
Again, I've enjoyed each one. I don't know if this one's funnier than the first. I do like that they add some stuff. For example, DeVito calling back to the smolder, hilarious. Perfect callback to the cake. I think they're building a nice little utility belt of callbacks and solutions, like I was mentioning earlier, that they'll be able to use in future installments. And I appreciate the groundwork being laid out. Like, I could definitely see the changing water color, the water thing, so they can swap bodies being like a pivotal thing that we'll all recognize in a future one. But I really do, I'm surprised. Out of all the crappy reboots, and man, are there so many crappy reboots, I'm glad that this one's at least working. Like I said, the idea of having Nora there is pretty cool, and I like that they're kind of looking at doing something where they're gonna bring it into the real world now, considering the after credits scene, and that's gonna be a nice callback to the original, so we'll see how they do it. Again, not everything needs to qualify for best of the decade. Sometimes you just want to be entertained for... Well, I mean, they're like 2 hours now, which will probably be my own small gripe. Stop dragging them out. Don't make them longer than they need to be. But these movies are fun, and I enjoy them. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And you too can play
Jumanji!